Welcome to episode 318 of Angela Watson's Truth for Teachers. I'm your host, Angela Watson, and I'm here to speak encouragement into the hearts of educators and get you informed and energized for the week ahead. Today, I'm talking about how to use artificial intelligence to help you plan lessons and still make that lesson feel authentically yours. Visit truthforteachers.com for an easy-to-read, easy-to-share version of this podcast episode. Today's episode is brought to you in part by ListenWise and their new product designed for newcomers and beginning-level English learners. It's called LingoLift. LingoLift builds the foundational social and academic language that newcomers need. Their large collection of short educational videos teaches content and language together. Unique Watch, Learn, Speak instructional sequences and teacher's guides offer a powerful yet flexible tool for building newcomer skills as quickly as possible. Now, ListenWise has something for students K-12 at every level of English language acquisition. Request a quote and try LingoLift free today at listenwise.com. Are you feeling buried under lesson plans, grading, and endless emails? 40-Hour AI simplifies everything so you can integrate AI seamlessly into your regular routines. You'll learn how to automate tedious tasks, streamline lesson planning, and differentiate instruction without spending hours on trial and error. 40-Hour AI provides curated guidance of only the best tools and uses of AI, with step-by-step guidance, time-saving templates, and real-world examples from other teachers so you can work smarter. The short, to-the-point trainings show you exactly what to use and how to use it, cutting through the noise so you save time immediately. Join thousands of teachers making AI simple, ethical, and effective with 40-Hour AI. Get started today at 40htw.com/AI. That's 40htw.com/AI. Today, we're diving into how you can use artificial intelligence to plan lessons while still putting your personal touch on them. AI is an incredible tool. It's like having an assistant that's there to brainstorm, organize, and suggest ideas for you. But here's the thing. No AI can replace your expertise as a teacher or the connections you build with your students. So this episode is all about keeping you in the driver's seat while using AI as a tool to make your workload lighter and to make your lessons more engaging. Let's get into it by talking about the why. Why even bother use AI for lesson planning? Obviously, it can save you a ton of time. It can take the heavy lifting out of some parts of planning, like generating ideas, creating outlines, or adapting materials for different learning levels. But, and this is key, it's not going to hand you a perfect lesson plan. What AI can do is give you a strong starting point. You're still the one tailoring it to fit your students' needs. So think of it this way. AI is like the sous chef, but you're the head chef. You're deciding the menu. You're seasoning the dishes. You're presenting the meal. The AI just helps prep the ingredients for you. So let's talk about how to enhance an existing lesson plan with AI and then talk about how to create one from scratch. Let's say you already have a solid lesson plan, but you want to make it even better. AI is a perfect thinking partner for this. Instead of starting from scratch, you can ask AI to enhance what you've already created. So you can copy and paste your lesson outline into a tool, just ChatGPT is fine, and give it specific instructions, such as add some creative hands-on activities to this lesson, or suggest 3 ways to incorporate movement or collaboration into this lesson plan. Or revise this to include higher order thinking questions aligned with Bloom's taxonomy. So you can give it your existing lesson plan and just make it a little better with a simple 1-sentence prompt. AI can also help you brainstorm extension activities or modifications. For instance, you might ask, how can I adapt this lesson for students with different reading levels? Or suggest a way to connect this topic to real-world applications. This is a great way to uncover fresh ideas or take your lesson from good to fantastic. Remember, AI suggestions might not be perfect, so you want to treat them as inspiration. Pick the ideas that work best for your students, tweak them to fit your teaching style. The beauty here is that AI can help you think outside the box without having to start over completely or adding a bunch more work to your plate. Now let's talk about what happens when you want to create a lesson plan from scratch. This can be a good approach when you're not sure how to teach something and you're stuck, and also when you're looking for a completely fresh take on how to teach a particular lesson. So I often do this with AI. I give an intentionally broad or vague prompt to see where the bot will take things. Often it goes in a different direction than I would have gone, and that gets me thinking outside of the box. If I do have something very specific in mind and I just want the bot to develop the concept a bit more, or to write out all the steps in a detailed way for documentation, I give the bot very specific instructions. So the type of prompting you do really depends on what you want to get back from the chatbot. I'll walk you through the basic steps here of creating a lesson plan with AI and making it yours. And just keep in mind that the detail of prompts is really up to you. Give it less information if you want the AI to go out in its own direction. Give it more if you have something very specific in mind. So the first step is to pick your AI tool. I've tried them all. I really like ChatGPT the best. Some months I pay for the pro version. Right now it's about $20 a month. It depends on how much I'm going to be using it. But the free version is really good and definitely advanced enough to help you create really awesome lesson plans. So I like ChatGPT. Other teachers like Claude, Copilot is another really popular one. All of these have free versions. So pick the one that you want. And if you're not sure where to start, I just began with ChatGPT. So pick your tool. And then the next step is to start with a clear student objective. Getting started in a chat with a bot can be a little intimidating because it's not always easy to put into words what you want the bot to do. I recommend talking to it like you would a human coworker. In fact, you can literally speak into the ChatGPT app or use voice mode on the desktop version. And so you can just talk to it. You don't even have to type it out and talk to it informally. You could even just start rambling if you want to. So you might say, I'm a 5th grade teacher and I need a lesson plan about multiplying fractions. I'm not exactly sure how I want to teach it, but I know I've got 45 minutes. I need some kind of way to hook kids' attention at the beginning, preferably something that ties into their interests. And there should be some kind of maybe practice activity that is collaborative, and maybe an exit ticket or another formative assessment at the end. I don't think I'm going to give a formal grade on this. I'm just introducing the topic. Let me see. Oh, that's important for you to note. This is the kid's first exposure to multiplying fractions. How can I teach this? So you can literally just hit record and say something exactly like that. You don't have to have this formal prompt written out with exactly the right thing. Talk to it like you're a human. Think out loud. You don't have to have really clear instructions with the AI. It can give you professional results even if you're just sort of rambling like I just was in this example. Also, if you choose to type, don't worry about typos. Any misspellings, any punctuation errors, the AI can make sense of it anyway. So you don't need to worry about that. You can type super fast and make a bunch of mistakes. It will know what you're talking about. The one thing that you do need to be clear on is what you want your students to learn. What is the standard or the skill or the big takeaway? So, for example, instead of saying, plan a lesson on fractions, you might say, create a hands-on lesson for 5th graders to understand multiplying fractions using real-world examples. But again, you don't have to have that kind of perfect wording. You can always just copy-paste the learning standard or the objective right into the bot. That way you can make sure the lesson will be designed to achieve that specific objective. And then you could talk to the bot as casually as you would like. Now, step 3 is to let AI do the first draft. You've chosen your tool, you've told it what you want, you hit enter, and then it will start generating. You will have a drafted lesson in seconds. And again, might not be perfect, but you may be surprised at how good it is. AI often surprises me with the results very pleasantly. I also get disappointed sometimes too. But that variance is making it sort of a human experience, right? Because humans also have better output or better days, and then other times where we don't do as well with things. So when you sort of roll with it like that, instead of expecting it to be this perfect machine, think of it more like a human, just because it makes it more relatable and less frustrating when you don't like what you have. Here's what to know about the first draft. You want to be prepared to refine it with the bot. And that's okay because now you have something to work with. You've saved yourself lots of time from just staring at a blank page or random Googling. Another thing to note is that bots seem to be inconsistent in their performance. Some days I get much better results than others. I can use the exact same prompt, just changing out the topic, and if I do that on separate occasions, I will get completely different results. Now, some of this is because the models are always improving and changing. So what you get today on ChatGPT won't be the same as what you would have gotten 3 months ago, and it won't be what you would get 3 months from now. And like a human, bots appear to get tired after being asked to do a number of tasks back to back, or to work with an especially lengthy text, or do a highly complex task. Now, obviously, the bot isn't really tired, but that's how it can seem to us as humans when we observe that the results may be better in the beginning of the conversation than toward the end of your time using the bot. So if this happens, you can always start over with a new chat, and that sort of wipes the slate clean for the bot. That's what I do when I feel like I'm repeatedly telling it what to do and it's not following my directions correctly. It tends to happen more often with detailed tasks than with something like creating a lesson plan. That sort of thing is simple enough that I haven't really noticed the sort of AI fatigue. But I also have ChatGPT proofread my podcast transcripts. And I found it can get a little sloppy with the longer ones, especially if it's an interview and it's like 45 minutes. It will forget to do the things that I asked it to do, like removing speaker names or timestamps. It will do it at the beginning of the transcript, and then towards the end, it just sort of forgets and doesn't. And I stop the bot. I literally press the stop button and I tell it, no, I need you to do X, Y, and Z, and it will start regenerating. So I don't say all of this to scare you off of using AI because obviously it's still saving you massive amounts of time, even if the results are a little bit off. I'm just letting you know that it's good to expect some inconsistencies in the responses. If you give pretty clear directions and you still don't get what you want, don't assume it's a bad tool or that you should necessarily switch tools. And don't assume that you're just not good at this AI stuff. Keep going. It's very normal. If you're in communities that use AI a lot, you will hear people talking about this. It's not enough to make it a tool that's not worth using. It's worth sticking through it, but just know that if you run into these kinds of problems, it's very normal. It will probably improve as the AI models improve. In the meantime, just keep working with it. Step 4 now is to personalize the lesson. This is the most important part, really making it yours. AI doesn't know your students like you do. It doesn't know that some of your kids love basketball and others are obsessed with Taylor Swift. It doesn't know that you've got a few students who struggle with focus or who need more movement in their learning. So take that lesson plan draft and tweak it. You can add examples that are relevant to your students. If the AI suggests a word problem about, let's say, trains, but your class loves basketball, rewrite it to include points in a game or player stats. You can adjust the lesson plan pacing. Maybe the AI suggests a 5-minute discussion, but you know your kids need 10 minutes to really get into it. Add in your teaching style. If you like starting lessons with a story or a riddle, layer that in. And reference prior lessons. Make a note to yourself to refer back to an activity students did in the prior unit or other experiences that the AI bot doesn't know about. Now, these are tweaks that you can make yourself, or you can ask the bot to implement these changes. So tell it, my students love basketball. Can you change the word problems from trains to basketball? Or make some of the word problems about basketball, others about trains, others about Taylor Swift. So whether I make these changes myself or I ask the bot to do it depends on how quick I think it's going to be. If it's something that I could easily just do myself, I'll do it. But if it's something that's going to require rethinking the entire project or rethinking the entire paragraph or word problem, then I'll ask ChatGPT to do that. As you're refining the lesson, you might use prompts like these. I don't like the assessment activity. Can you make it more engaging for students? Give me 5 alternative word problems. And this is so you can have more to select from. Then you can just choose the very best. If you only need 3 of them and you have 5 already, getting 5 more just gives you more options basically. So you're not settling for something that's just okay. Another prompt that you might give it and you're refining is, this is too much sitting and listening. How can we make this lesson more interactive? Or assume that students need a review for the parts of a fraction. Add in a quick review before the lesson starts. So basically, whatever you're thinking that is disappointing you as you're reading through the lesson, just tell the bot that. Like, oh, I was looking for something that was more this, or I think this is too formal, or this is too wordy, or maybe this is not detailed enough. Tell it that, it will immediately spit out something better. You can also refine the lesson to request differentiation ideas. For example, you might follow up your prompt with, rewrite this activity for students who are struggling with fractions. Give me a 10-minute small group follow-up lesson that I can provide to students who need more practice. Create a challenge question for students who are advanced. Give me some ideas for what to have early finishers work on when they're done. We may have a class assembly that causes me to end the period 10 minutes early. Where would you recommend I cut things out? I may need to spread this lesson over 2 days if we have a test prep activity to complete. How could I structure this as 2 20-minute lessons instead of one 45-minute lesson? So basically, if there's anything that you're wondering about logistics or differentiation or personalization, ask the bot for input. You can always disregard the ideas if you don't like them and come up with your own, but it's often helpful to use the bot's response as a springboard for your own thinking. Step 5 is to check for equity and accuracy. So once you've got the lesson the way you want it, just do a quick check for misinformation and make sure there's no bias. You might ask yourself, are the examples inclusive? Does this align with our curriculum and standards? Are there any obvious mistakes or oversights? Are there any quotes or dates or answers that I might want to double check? Step 6 is then to use AI to help you create slideshows or student resources. So once you've got the bulk of the lesson done, now any supplemental materials, maybe a slideshow, maybe a student activity page, maybe some sort of station activities, you can use other AI tools beyond ChatGPT to help you create these. There's lots of tools, some of which are designed for teachers and others are designed for broader use. They can help you create your lesson resources more quickly. Teachshare.com is a good one. It used to be called worksheets.ai. TeachShare will allow you to copy-paste or upload your student practice questions and turn them into a beautifully formatted worksheet, graphic organizer, note-taking page, and so on. If you teach the younger grades, there's some really nice templates in there for that as well that are designed for pre-K, K, first grade as well, but also stuff that's much more complex going all the way up to the high school level. So you can enter your lesson information into teachshare.com and it will format the activity for you. I also like Canva Magic Write. If you're designing visuals like slideshows, Canva can really help. Teachers get free pro accounts with Canva, and there's tons of templates already there, many of which have been designed by other teachers. Canva can plug your information in for your lesson so that you don't have to format each slide individually. Or at least you don't have to start from scratch. I especially love the feature where it can give written data and it will automatically create a graph or a chart with that data. Curipod is another good one, Curipod. At the time of this recording, I think Curipod does a better job creating interactive presentations than Canva does because Curipod is designed with student engagement and participation in mind. So you input a topic, it generates the slides, the questions, and the engagement activities to make your lesson interactive. I also recommend Diffit, Diffit. This is one of my favorite tools for generating all kinds of differentiated reading passages, vocabulary resources, quizzes, lots of things like that. In fact, you can use Diffit to help you create the content and skip ChatGPT altogether. It will allow you to create tons of different graphic organizers and practice activities, and then export your work into Google Drive so it's ready to print or share online with students. All of these tools that I've mentioned, teachshare.com, Canva, Curipod, and Diffit, are easy to use and they all have free versions that work just fine for most classroom needs. By the way, if you find the mention of all of these tools and possibilities a little bit overwhelming, I get it. And that is why I created 40 Hour AI. That's the spinoff from the 40-hour teacher workweek. I founded 40-Hour AI last year to help educators navigate all the different options and the constant changes in the AI world. So in 40-Hour AI, I don't teach you everything. It's really overwhelming. I show you just the most important things to know. There is a time savers collection of videos in which I and K-12 classroom teachers show you in 5 minutes or less how to complete specific tasks as a teacher, from creating a vocabulary practice activity to writing SMART goals to making rubrics. You just watch the quick training, tells you which tool to go to, off you go. So I do want to mention that here for folks who prefer to have someone curating tools and finding the best possible uses of AI rather than having to try everything out on your own. If you're interested in that, go to 40htw.com/AI to learn more. The link is in the show notes. And in the blog post for this article, you'll also find a link to a free training and some free prompt guides for using AI to streamline your workload. And that link is in the show notes as well. Opting into my mailing list to get the free prompts means I'll be emailing you just once per week, so no worries about getting bombarded with messages. So that brings us to the final step in creating a lesson plan with AI, which is probably the most important one. And that is reflect on how to reuse and improve your work. After you teach the lesson, take a few minutes to reflect. Did the AI-generated ideas work well? Were there parts that felt too generic or didn't quite land with your students? What would you change next time? Keeping track of what works and what doesn't will make AI an even more valuable tool for you over time. Consider creating a simple system to document your best AI-assisted lesson plans and prompts. You could use the Notes app if you're an Apple user or a Google Doc to jot down what worked well and what you want to adjust for next time. You can bookmark or save useful AI-generated templates so you can reuse and refine them instead of having to start from scratch. You can create a running list of your favorite AI prompts that consistently give you great results. That way you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time you need AI's help. You can build a bank of high-quality lessons that are tailored to your teaching style. This will allow you to plug that final version into AI next time so it knows what you're looking for. You can say, I taught this lesson, it went really well. I want something similar now for this topic, and let it generate. Over time, AI can help you develop a personal archive of well-structured, engaging lessons that you can tweak and improve year after year. This reflection process turns AI into more than just a shortcut. It becomes a tool for growth, helping you streamline your work without sacrificing quality or creativity. Here's today's takeaway truth. AI is a powerful ally, but it's not the expert. You are. Use it to lighten your load and spark ideas so that you have the time and mental bandwidth to infuse lessons with your own creativity, expertise, and heart. Your students don't just need a good plan, they need you. Have a great week. You can do this. And remember, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be worth it.